Chaz from Chaz and AJ in the Morning, 99.1 PLR. We're here with Candlebox, Kevin Martin, Brian Quinn. We're at Little Pub in Fairfield. They're about to go on. Thank you.
Oh, it's our pleasure, man.
Very glad to be here.
Big fan for a long time.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Everyone's asked me to ask you how you got the name Candlebox.
You know, Wikipedia can tell everybody that. It was a name that I'm a huge Midnight Oil fan. When I was right about my 18th birthday, I went to see Midnight Oil, and
was that your first show?
No. It was a very profound show in my life. Peter Garrett scared the living daylights out of me. He
in
was
a good way.
So commanding, and I was just, and I was a drummer at the time. I wasn't singing in a band. I was playing drums, and I was like, that's the most amazing experience I'd ever had. And
almost religious.
It was
Was
really
that musical,
and so I
religious?
just dove into Midnight Oil, and when we were looking for a band name, I was like, there's this line in this song called Tin Legs and Tin Minds that I think is really special. And Peter Garrett's they're an Australian band, and he's very protective of the Aboriginal tribe and community of Australia.
He went into politics, too.
Yeah, he's part of the Green Party, and he always spoke of the Aboriginals with such just great respect. There's so many words I could use, but I think great respect of what this community of people have done for Australia. And there's a line in a song called Boxed In Like Candles, where he's talking about you can't take these people that are so big and so beautiful and put them in this little reserve and expect them to survive. And I was like, Boxed In Like Candles, Candlebox. I think that's a really interesting thing. I didn't even know Candlebox was a real thing until years later when people started.
Did you ever get a chance to talk to him and tell him that?
I have not met him yet. And,
really?
And my wife's Australian. I'm like, every time we're in Australia, we got to find him.
Because
I want to tell him. But I love Midnight Oil, and that's where the band name came from.
So you guys, 1990 in Seattle, the music scene is kicking in.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like? Did you guys know that there was all these bands on the launch pad, or was
sure.
it just like you're in a really cool music scene?
No, I mean everybody was paying attention to the city at the time. I think that it really kind of was probably right around the time that Guns N' Roses came through Seattle and opened up for. They were playing with the Cult. They were opening for the Cult. That was like '88. It was at that moment, I think, where people started to realize that Seattle had a really great music scene. Because there was so much attention put on the fact that this town was getting all these great concerts. Why were people going to Seattle to play? And so labels started to come up there. Sub Pop had already started. They'd already released several singles. It was a very small independent label. And with the attention of, concerts like Guns N' Roses opening for the Cult and Jane's Addiction coming through and all the stuff that was happening there, labels started to pay interest, and we knew that something was happening. I was working in a shoe store when all that was going on. So, but it was special. It was you had Malfunction.
So you'd go out to a club and you'd
see the greatest show.
Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, Nirvana, Pearl Jam.
Sweetwater, My Sister's Machine.
You guys actually share DNA with Pearl Jam, right?
Dave Cruisen's our drummer now. Yeah. I mean, he's been with us since '98. He joined Candlebox in '98, and it's a very incestual city.
Yeah, it was.
They've all played together.
What a time! I mean, I feel like that should be the next big rock movie, right? Like you're coming out with all these rock movies. They should try to capture that.
Well, they did. What was it? Singles, which was funny because it was kind of like a weird take on the Seattle music scene. But
I think we're ready for another one.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Leave Candlebox out of it though.
Yeah. Oh, really? Would you not want to be in that movie? No. Really? How come?
Just would rather just leave Sleeping Dogs Lie,
Yeah. What was it like going from, almost obscurity or just being known in Seattle to having a quadruple platinum album?
Thank you. Weird. Yeah, I mean, we were so much younger in age, literally, than the guys in Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, and Alice in Chains. I mean, I was 14 years old when I moved there in 1984, and they were all 20. 20, 21. I think most of those guys are about 5 years older than me. So, it was an idea and it was a concept when we put the band together that maybe someone would pay attention. If you'd have told me when we started the band that at some point we would tour with Living Colour and we would tour with Rush and we would tour with Metallica and we would tour with Aerosmith and all these great bands that I grew up listening to, I would have absolutely not listened to you.
Right. You'd be like, cut it out.
Yeah, that's a really cruel game.
Why are you teasing me?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that actually happened. So, I mean, when you get thrown into the limelight in an environment like that with the history of the city and the bands that had come before you, honestly, very shortly before you, 2 and 3 years before you, it's a strange feeling, And then all of a sudden your record sells 1 million copies in a year, and you don't really know what's happening, and you're the only band that's playing Woodstock '94 that has a record in the top 20 Billboard charts.
Wow.
Yeah. And we were the only band playing that
when
had a record
you
in
were
the top 20.
recording the album, did you know you had something special?
No, I think we knew that Far Behind was a song that everybody was going to love, but I don't think we had any idea what that record was going to do.
That song has a connection to Mother Love Bone.
Yeah, Andy Wood.
Yeah.
It was written about Andy. Yeah.
And your bass player comes in, has a riff. You go home, write the words.
Pete goes home, takes it, turns it into the guitar riff, and the rest is history. And it's literally the first day that our bass player came to try out for the band. He brought that song and you with him, And
wow.
Yeah,
good,
and we're
good
like, well,
pick
you're hired.
For bass.
Yeah, exactly.
You're in.
Yeah, he's a busy bass player, obviously. I think with those riffs, but but yeah, I mean, it was pretty special.
Yeah, Brian, you've been quiet. You're talking too much.
He's a young kid. He's just a young one, this guy.
I love hearing the history of all this too, because it's nothing we really talk about all the time. So it's always good to hear his take on things.
He's a Philly boy, this guy over here.
Yeah. When did you join the band, and how did that happen?
I joined in 2015. Kevin and I were label mates back in 2007. I had a band named Foster Child out of Philadelphia that I had formed with members of Fuel and Tantric when they were doing their changes. So we were on the same label together, and we
played a
became
show in
friends.
Philly, which
yeah,
was
we did it.
amazing. They blew us off the stage.
Yeah.
Philly fans
true.
are nuts, right?
Did a label showcase together in New York, and then we just became friends and stayed in touch, and he called me to do a session with a side project that was going on at the time, and a couple months after that, I ended up joining the band. But I grew up, I was a freshman in high school when the whole Seattle thing broke, so that was very big for us, being a teenager at that age, and it was the last great, scene that came out with guitar-driven rock and guitar players, so I was all for it. And they were the first band. Candlebox, actually, at that time, was the first band that started adding guitar solos back into stuff, because at that time it was kind of passé to do guitar solos.
Well, melodic guitar solos, because
Yes,
Soundgarden had tons of them. But
They had them, but yeah, it was noisy.
Exactly. When Pete left, Brian was my first consideration for the replacement, because I'd seen him play. I knew how talented he was.
I like how a band blows you away, then you sabatage them and take their
No, because they had already split up. They had already split up. I didn't break up Octane.
Yeah, for the record, he didn't break them up.
No, I didn't break it up. Those bands had just run their course. But we found nominal success here and there, and finally signed a record contract. It was great. But when he came to me with this gig, obviously it's a national gig. It was a big shot for me, and I was just very familiar with the music, familiar with the band, and
seems like a great fit, right?
Yeah. He really is, and I think as most musicians would say, you're lucky enough to play with people that change your mind on stage, maybe once or twice, and that's what's
What do you mean by that?
When you're on stage and you're playing a show, you're used to you get into this routine where you know what it is, the song is, you're running it, and then somebody plays something and you turn and you look at them and it changes your mind of this is why I do this. It's not. It's the beauty of someone's playing that draws you in, even as an audience member. And Brian, on several occasions throughout the years that he's played with us, I turn and look and I'm like, I can't believe that guy plays with me. I mean, he's that talented.
What a great feeling.
Dude, acoustically blows my mind. I mean, it's brilliant. He's that talented, and I'm lucky enough to have experienced that twice now in my career with guitar players.
Let's go back to the album, quadruple platinum. So you're not known, then all of a sudden you're the hottest thing. Drew's over here. It was his very first concert, New Haven Coliseum. Tell me about the moment you knew, wow, I'm a rock star. Was it a limo? Was it hearing the song on the radio?
No, I was actually checking my bank account once.
That's cool.
I was taking money out. I was like, I got to get some coffee, and I looked at the screen, and I was like a dog, you tilt your head, and you're like, what?
Were you at an ATM or?
Yeah, it was an ATM. My buddy Jeff was with me. I go, hey, come here and look at this. Is that right? And he's like, what do you want to do? I said, let's go buy a car. Like, I've been on tour for like a year and a half, and I was like, we're going to buy a car right now.
Let's go buy a ride.
Yeah.
What did you go and get?
I bought a brand new 993 convertible Porsche.
Damn.
1995, yeah.
Damn.
And the guy's like, what are you paying? I said, cash.
Yeah. Here's a pile of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I wrote a check.
Dealer?
I wrote a check for it. Yeah.
Sweet.
But that was what I mean. Honestly, that's really. I mean, when you tour with bands like Aerosmith and Metallica and Rush and Living Colour and stuff, you know you're on a course, right? You know you're doing something right. But I think ultimately for most musicians, it's when you can go to the ATM and take cash out, and you're like, wow, I really have a career.
I'm actually making money.
I'm making money doing something I really love,
right?
And whether it's millions of dollars or $150, if you know you can go there and take money out because you're making music. It doesn't matter how much it is. You've got a career.
We were talking. Where were you? Boston last night. Some
Boston
dude yelled out, "Take your shirt off," which is a weird thing, right? That'll stick in your head for a while.
I'll never forget that.
That's weird.
I was in the middle of a deep moment too. Like,
Yeah.
really deep moment. The fucking song. Like, this guy just fucking threw me for a loop. But.
Yeah. Take your shirt off. Where's the strangest place someone recognized you? That you could think of. Like,
A toilet.
Yeah, men's room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's very uncomfortable.
Right, because what do? You're there, and it's all out, and
yeah.
it's like, hey, man, you're the dude from Candlebox.
Yeah.
Right.
That's awesome. I mean, you don't know. The response is like, can we wait till we're done here?
Yeah.
I mean, that's really.
And
the
we're not
weirdest
shaking
place.
hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the weirdest place.
I shake your hand, but it's full of flesh.
Yeah. There should be a rule like you just don't talk to another man when
Don't
the meat's out.
talk to another man in the toilet.
That's right. There should be no conversation. All right, so you have a new album coming out.
And for
Can we
those of
talk
you that
about
feel
this?
comfortable farting in a urinal, please don't.
Yeah, don't while I'm in there. Nope. Yeah. New album?
Yeah, new album starting in August.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, we're
starting or releasing?
Starting. Yeah, we're starting in
Starting.
August. We're making a record.
So you're writing stuff now?
Yeah, we've got like 6 things that are rough sketches that the band will do 3 days pre-production. We don't really like go in with full songs written. We'll have an acoustic riff and the foundation of the song, and then we'll build in the studio because we kind of like the spontaneity of it.
Can you write a song about Drew? I would say instead of you. Can you sing
Drew.
instead of you? Can you sing
His
Drew?
name's Drew.
Right, Drew.
Only Drew. It's for Drew. Yeah.
Yes,
but that's
it's
what
Drew.
that's what we're working on. And Brian's like the riff leader of the band. He's more of that kind of a musical writer. So he's got some stuff on his plate that I've said to him. I want to make a record that doesn't follow one path. I want it to be kind of like a Neil Young Crazy Horse, record where it's kind of all over the place and it's not focused except for lyrically. And that's what we're doing. So Brian's got that on his plate, and then we have Island, our other guitar player, who's a little bit more of the technical, clean guy. So we're talking about some stuff that's in the realm of, like the OK Computer Radiohead type of songwriting. That's not that we're going to sound like that, but just kind of more of a technical, interesting
Yeah,
songwriting.
it'll be fun to record.
Yeah.
And to listen to.
Yeah.
So.
But it'll be
Anything
very
else?
raw. It'll be very raw.
Anything else you want to throw out there?
We love you.
Yeah.
And thanks for having us,
You're
man.
really
having us.
fan friendly.
We are.
And, I think people look for that now.
It's hard.
They want
man.
the connection.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. And as much as I miss the anonymity of the '90s, where you could walk off a tour bus and no one could get to you, it's really nice meeting all these fans that have actually been a part of my career for 25 years.
They helped you buy that Porsche.
I mean, they did, and that's the thing. Like, you can't forget that,
Right.
And a lot of musicians do.
Well, thanks for giving being a rock star a good name.
Thanks, man. It's my pleasure.
Thank you, man. We'll see you on stage.
You got it.
All right.